So hey guys, welcome to this new episode. Today we're talking about releases. Yeah, there was some releases these days. Nobody really knew about these, but it was releases actually. And yeah, today it's gonna be only me. I'm sorry if you are gonna miss Martin, but he's out there studying and I'm finishing my year and I don't have any tests left, so yeah, I said like, why not? First I'm gonna date you up with the story of the drone. You know that story I told like 2 episodes ago, I think. Yeah, so what we finally did, so we had this problem, we couldn't fix the 3D printer yet because I will still have to fix it. I think the teacher is gonna tell me to do that job, but I don't have anything against that, so no big deal for me. And yeah, so today, actually just today it's 1st December 2021, if you're listening to this another year, but I don't think so. We had this like event at our school where we had to do like our own like business models that are sustainable and eco-friendly. So what we did with our group is that we decided not to use that 3D printed stuff because it was like very, very, very heavy, like 100 grams each piece, and it was like in total like 200 grams. And we didn't have like any good motors, we didn't have brushless motors, just only DC motors. And what we did, we recycled, like to put the recycling stuff into it, we recycled old drones that weren't like that in a good condition, and we like reused the motors of 2 different drones and stuff like that are very similar in size and all stuff, and we soldered them together and used a laser cut like foam paper. I'm not sure about the name in English, but it's like thick paper, then a layer of foam, and then another thick paper layer, and that's very, very light, but also pretty heavy duty. Not heavy duty, but it can withstand a lot of use and wear. So it was like the perfect material for us, and we decided to use that, and it worked very well. We could fly it everywhere, and it didn't go very high. At the max it reached, I think, like let's say 3 meters, but that's another story. That was the weight. I think it was a little too heavy still, so thank God we didn't use the 3D printed one, because for that we must have used the brushless motors. We did not have and did not want to spend any more money, because those are pretty expensive actually, plus the battery, plus the receiver and all this stuff. It's like easy $300, so we didn't want to spend that money. It's for school, you know, and it's technology class at like a secondary third like class, so it doesn't matter very much on your diploma. So I forgot to take some water with me, and I'm very thirsty now. But yeah, I'm just gonna go on. So finishing with the story, we got now some Canon releases. I'm gonna talk about mainly 2. The third one is like a point and shoot camera, but nobody like really cares about those. If you want me to talk about that camera, you can like swipe up on Spotify. I'm sorry if you're on Apple Podcast and stuff, but you can like swipe up on Spotify and basically answer there if you want me to review or to talk about this point and shoot camera alike, because it's not like a real like point and shoot camera. Yeah, so you can answer there. So on the Canon side, we got the new CRX300 PTC camera. It is not like a mirrorless camera stuff, it's more like you can imagine it as a surveillance camera, but a very professional surveillance camera that's used for events and surveillance as well, and basically everywhere. It's mounted on a 3-axis gimbal, to say it in a way, but it's not like much of a gimbal because it goes mounted on the wall, so it doesn't have to do a gimbal job, but it's more to get moved. So yeah, it is IP65, so you can put it outside for surveillance or events if it's outside raining or stuff. And for the rain, it's pretty funny because it has a wiper outside, like in a car, but outside. So it looks pretty funny. Like it's a microphone. Like yeah, you can Google it. It's a CRX300 if you did not get it. So we got a 2.3. It's CMOS sensor, so 1 divided in 2.3, 1/2 inch sensor basically. It's 8.3 megapixels. That's not that much, but that megapixel, counts more for photos. And this is like capable of a lot of video. That's a job it has to do. It's up to 4K 30 at 422 or 10-bit, so very color accurate, you could say, in a way. And the most impressive part is that it has a 20 times optical zoom. That's 30 to 600 millimeters, and from that 600 millimeters you got 20x digital zoom. So that's pretty impressive actually, that you can go like 20 times 600 millimeters. I don't know how much it is. That should be like 1,800 or like 18, or I don't know, like something with no 12,000 or something millimeters, or yeah, it's a lot basically. Yeah, it's 12,000 millimeters. That's very, very much. You will obviously lose quality at that stage, but pretty good. And for using this, you also have to focus, because it's not like a phone that doesn't focus physically, or I'm not sure. I've never known that very good. I will research that after I do this podcast actually. And yeah, so you got the dual pixel autofocus from Canon. That's very famous autofocus, you could say. That's like one of the best ones on the market, the technology. Sony is pretty strong on the autofocus as well. And on the Nikon side, Martin's not here to talk about Nikon, but I think they got pretty decent autofocus as well. Pretty good actually. If you pay good, you get good stuff basically everywhere. But yeah, and I was telling you, this camera is not small, it's not cheap, and it's not light, but Canon says it's very light at 7 kilograms. So yeah, Canon, I don't know what's light for you, but light for me is like 500 grams on a camera. But this one is pretty big, and it looks pretty nice to me. I'm not very interested in surveillance cameras, but I thought you maybe were interested. I'm more interested on the more like camera side, but like not surveillance, but more like normal cinema or freelance camera, mirrorless basically. And for that we got a new monitor. It's the Canon DP-V1830 Pro monitor. So I don't know what the name is, that's a strange name, but it's basically an 18-inch 4K HDR monitor with a lot of exits and buttons and everything, but it is very color accurate. It's certificated by Dolby Vision and EBU Tech, so that are, I think, I've never known EBU Tech 3320, but it says that it should, from what they say, it should be like very good certification. You can split the screen in up to 4 screens, and on the Canon page it says that it should get on the when you like divide it in 4, you could get 8K output on those little like monitors, because they are smaller, and with the it should be like 8K. It says here. It says that it's robust but mobile, so you can move it around fairly easily at 7.5 kilograms. So yeah, Canon again with this like light denomination that for me is very, very heavy. But yeah, So I was going to leave this here because I didn't know like any more releases, but then I went on the Verge tech page, which is pretty nice to do some research always. I use it pretty often when I want to search for new releases, and I found a new Samsung release that I was like pretty amazed that I didn't hear from it. But Samsung like posts a lot of releases lots of stuff always, and you never know very good because it's the A series, the S series, the Note series, and I think it would be that like it's the low end. Oh, and you got the M series. I think you got the low end, that's the A like low numbers, the other A like mid-range, that's the A like A80 for example, or A70 and 71, and from the 51 I think it goes. And then you got the S series, that's the like high end, and the Note, that's for like the office with the S Pen, and yeah, that's more like for office work and stuff. So we got on the low end, on the A13 we get the release, but this time it's the A13 5G. So on a budget phone, you could say in a way, you got 5G capabilities. But before we talk about like that, but it's pretty obvious that's 5G capability, we got Android 11, that's pretty nice, 6.5 inch screen with 90 Hz adaptive refresh rate, so that's pretty nice. 90, like that's better than having nothing, or like only 60 Hz, so that's pretty nice. What's not so nice, and that's where the budget comes in, it has not a Snapdragon nor Qualcomm processor, but we got a MediaTek 700 processor, so I don't know that one very good. I didn't know that existed but yeah, it should be good for multitasking and doing normal stuff. You won't be able, I think, to watch 4K video on 60 frames. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, so we got 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, depending if you buy the 64 or 128 gigabyte internal storage. But if you get the 64 gigabyte model and you need more space for pictures and stuff, as always you got an SD slot, and as it's already routine, up to 1 terabyte extended memory. So Apple, you should look a little bit to the side and do this. Yeah, we get a 5000 milliamp hour battery, that's pretty good. That's charged with a fast 25 watt charging. And the most impressive one for 2021 is that it has a jack 3.5 millimeters, so you can use headphones, the normal headphone output, on this phone. That is pretty amazing for 2021. Actually, we haven't had this type of inlet a long time ago, and that's pretty amazing. It amazes me a lot, at least. Like, what? Like, the high-end phone only use USB-C, and we got this time USB-C on a low-end phone, but that's like pretty normal to have USB-C. That's why I didn't mention it before, because it's like you assume it's USB-C. It's like on an iPhone you assume that it's Lightning, so basically. And jack 3.5 on a phone, 2021 release, that's very nice. I should stop saying pretty, because I always say like pretty much pretty. Yeah. So we also got a fingerprint scanner at the side, but for that we don't have any face recognition options, but it wouldn't be any good either, because the selfie camera isn't very good. I'm not sure about the megapixels on that one, but it's not the best one for the price, so you are really not missing anything. It won't be like the Face ID where you got like this very fast face recognition. You don't get it on a budget phone. What's not so budget about it it's the camera lineup with a 50 megapixel main camera. So that is very nice on a budget phone. But you always get like this thing that Samsung makes, or Android basically makes, to fill out like and not have like one camera only. They put on a macro lens that's, I think it's 2 megapixels, and a depth sensor. So those two are basically useless unless you wanna do like portrait mode and have like this bokeh effect on the back with a depth sensor, but nobody won't really use that. So yeah, it's like to fill out, not to have like one camera, but to have like 3 cameras like there, or 3 holes, because the sensor is not really a camera and the macro lens is basically trash because nobody uses that unless you're a macro photographer, but then you would buy a camera with a macro lens. Yeah. So you will ask me, how much is this 5G low-end phone, because it's still 5G, and my phone, I got the S20 FE, like Final Edition. It has no 5G capabilities, and it was almost double the price of this one. This one goes for $280 to $290 US. That's for the 128 6GB RAM storage model. We don't know exactly how much it will be like the cheap one, but it's basically gonna be, I think it's like 250 or 240, I would say. It doesn't change that much. It's not that expensive for Samsung to put double memory into it. It's pretty low. It's not 1 terabyte versus 2 terabyte, for example. Yeah. If you want to buy this phone, you will have to wait until early January 2022. But if you're in the US, and this phone, it's not US only, but I'm not sure if it's gonna get to Europe. I'm pretty sure it will get to there, but it's not on coming to America, like South America soon, or what I've read at least. But if you're in the US and you wanna buy this phone, but on the US nobody really uses Samsung, I don't know why, it's like very strange. But if you are AT&T user or are gonna switch to AT&T, it's gonna be available from the 3rd December 2021, so that's in 2 days from today. Today is 1st December. It's pretty obvious if I said it's gonna be in 2 days. Yeah, basically. And yeah, pretty very nice phone, I would say, for the price of $280 or $290. It is very nice to have that. And at last and least, it's in this time, Qualcomm Snapdragon's 8th Gen 1 chip is already announced, and it will be power the Android flagships in 2022. That is very nice to have it. It will of course have like 5G, Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E, and the best Bluetooth there is. It's the Bluetooth Bluetooth LE audio, first for Qualcomm, as I said, and it will have up to 10 gigabytes per second speeds. That's very, very high actually, and it will be able to handle 18-bit RAW photos and 8K HDR video if your camera has the ability. So on the Android side, we will have very, very, very good cameras next year from what I'm seeing here. So that's 8K HDR on a phone. That will be amazing if they get it to work and get it to like be on a phone next year on the Samsung S22 Ultra. I guess that will be that one. Note 22, and let's see on the Oppo and Xiaomi on that side. Let's see how that one goes. So yeah, pretty nice releases. I hope this was not too boring to be like only me and like be not reading but like telling you only this news and not like this conversation style we had planned for this podcast. But yeah, I hope you liked it and you hear me on the next one, and I hope with Martin. So yeah, see you or you hear me on the next one, and till there, bye bye.